In this section of the letter to the Corinthians, Paul's addressing the issue that he seems to have faced with the Corinthians. I mean, they were a troublesome church. They caused him all sorts of headaches, as you can see by the letters we've just read. And he also seems to have had a problem from other preachers who would go into the church in Corinth after Paul had left and would try and undermine Paul's authority, would stir up trouble, would make claims for themselves, and would rubbish Paul. And so Paul is having to defend himself a little bit here. And one of the things he's saying is he's addressing something that was said obviously among the Corinthian church, that, oh, Paul, my word, when Paul's here, he's very mild and meek and timid and weak. And when he's away, he writes these really kind of like strong, powerful letters. He types tougher than he talks. What's this all about? And Paul's saying, well, that's not true for a start. Number one, don't make me come over there with and be really strong, because I will, and I'll make these other preachers eat their own words. Secondly, he defends himself that he's overreaching his authority. He's saying, look, we're not stepping outside the limits that God has given to us, but those limits include writing to you and overseeing you, really. Weren't we the people that brought you the gospel in the first place? Weren't we the first ones to come to Corinth? We're not interfering in another person's ministry. We're just operating within the limits that God has given us, but those limits include you, my brothers and sisters, and in many ways they're his sons and daughters in the Lord, because he led them to Jesus. And then the third thing he says is, I'm not going to make these massive boasts. I'm not going to, make huge claims for myself other than the things that God says about me, because ultimately those are the things that really matter. And so at the end of this section, in verse 17, he says, but let the one who boasts boast in the Lord, for it is not the one who commends himself who is approved, but the one whom the Lord commends. And that is so powerful if we were to just chew on that and to live that out. So much of what we do today, and so much of the massive temptation I find, is it's just to big yourself up, isn't it? And it's to sort of drop in all the time how great you might be, or look at this, or look at that success I've had. We get so worried about what people think of us as well. A lot of it's our insecurity, that we feel like we have to really sort of go out there to show them that we're awesome. And when we boast, we always boast in ourselves. And we have to learn from Paul in this, to boast not in ourselves, but in the God that we know, and to trust that he will commend us. If you feel like you're only ever going to be significant if you play political games and you work your way into certain influential circles through your own efforts, then something big has been missed. God promotes those he wants to promote in his kingdom. God moves the pieces in the world around us, and anything that has eternal significance ultimately comes from him. So let's allow God to commend us and to carry forward our reputation, rather than trying to do it through our own human effort.